my head was pounding. The sky was bright. It was cold too. It hurt. Each sensation I felt led to a new and different one awakening. When I came to, I was lying face first on a dry rubber bed. A few body parts hurt a lot. The skin over a bunch of my joints was torn, turned blue, or red, oozing blood. I could tell it was my bones that were in pain from the agony I felt whenever I moved. I looked up and saw how high the bridge from which I'd fallen was. Considering I'd dropped from there, it was a miracle that I could open my eyes again. Right next to me was a broken, upside-down car seat, which I guess some pranksters arrived here. Maybe? This thing had been conveniently lying right under me, allowing me to escape instant death. Miraculous. Of course, I didn't know whether this miracle was fortunate or unfortunate. I failed to die, and now I was still stuck in this insane world. How long had I been unconscious for? The sun was high in the skies, so it looked only one or 2 hours had passed. My body's sluggishness didn't make it feel at all like so short a time had gone by. Mentally, it felt like I'd been asleep here for a decade. Who knows, it might have been a decade. Ow. The more feeling returned to my body, the more the pain flooded in. It hurt so much, it would have been better not to have woken up. I needed to get a doctor. Yeah, to Coach's clinic. The term Coach's clinic brought memories back one after another. Memories I wish I hadn't recalled. Satoko was no longer on the bridge. She would have returned to Hinamizawa by now. And she would put on some clothes, go to the clinic, get a checkup, and report on how crazy I had seemed. The police were waiting for me without a doubt. This time, would they find out for real that I killed their uncle and arrest me? Or would they just send me to a mental institution like I thought they might? Still, I didn't care which it was. Please, someone stop all this pain. You can boil me or cook me after that, wherever you want. I began to walk unsteadily, just limping along. I went downstream and through an animal trail-like path in the woods. I walked haphazardly, searching for a path I knew. Eventually, I finally came across a familiar road and set off towards the clinic. Not to my house, but to the clinic, which had treated me like a lunatic. It was hot and humid. There was no wind, and the air was stagnant. For a while now, I've been smelling the terrible stench of burned eggs, and it made my face scrunch up. And then, at last, I noticed something. I couldn't hear any cicadas. It was the first time I heard Hinamizawa be so utterly silent. When I thought back, it seemed like birds always chirped in the morning, cicadas always cried loudly in the afternoon, and Higurashis always rose up in the chorus in the evening, always something to hear. I couldn't hear a single insect. The only thing I could hear was the rustling of wind brushing the treetops. I'd never experienced this sort of quiet before. Even the only sound coming from the trees lacked life somehow. The trees were yellow, and many leaves were spread on the ground, despite it being too early for autumn. Even the weeds that had been growing so persistently at the side of the road had yellowed, browned, and lost their vigor. Only the sunlight itself was of the June Hinamizawa I knew. And yet, it seemed like the season had switched all of a sudden. Looking at the fallen leaves and rotting weeds led to me. Sorry, my phone distracted me for a moment. I forgot that I needed to turn my phone on its face whenever I record a video because I get distracted by the flashing light. I'm sorry. Looking at the fallen leaves and rotting weeds led me to spot a few small insects turned on their backs. They weren't moving. They were corpses. I looked closer to see insect corpses scattered all around, like a child collected them as samples and then strewed them about. The stench. What was it? It was terrible. Like burned eggs. Combined with all the bug corpses and leaves falling from the trees in summer. Had someone sprayed herbicides or pesticides around here? Even at school, we apparently fumigate. They call pest disinfection or something once or twice a year. I hadn't run into anybody, despite how bright it was outside. It was mid-afternoon, and yet it felt like I was sauntering about at midnight. Well, with this smell, nobody would want to be walking around outside. Just what was this anyway? There was no sound, no noise, not even a breath. Hinamizawa was silent. The school would come into view right after turning this corner, and yet I couldn't hear any commotion at all. None of the shouts or grunts that children's always made. It was simply quiet. Just as pretending to ignore the silence had grown intolerable, I saw the school. And finally, I heard something. It was the sound of a few trucks. There were a few very tall trucks parked in the school yard, idling. About 10 workers in raincoats were unloading the things from their trunks. It was hot and humid even in my casual clothing. I couldn't even imagine how unbearable that must have been. And then I remembered our school was rented from the Forest Service field office building, wasn't it? It wasn't strange at all for the Forest Service trucks to be doing some kind of work in the schoolyard. Besides, what did forest rangers do anyway? I felt bad for them having to work in such heat. There was such a stench about. They were taking colorful cargo out of the truck and lining it up in the schoolyard. There were containers, very large ones, inside multicolored patchwork bags. Heavy, too. They were being carried in pairs. They lined them up very neatly, like tuna at a riverside fish market. Several dozens, hundreds of tuna were completely filling the very wide schoolyard up. I forgot my pain for a little while, captivated by this big forest ranger job I'd never seen before. As I stood there, watching in a daze, the people in the raincoats working on the other side noticed me. One of them pointed me out, and they shouted a few things back and forth. I thought they might yell at me for getting in their way, so I decided to leave post-haste. But then, two trucks drove up behind me. I stepped aside, and they entered the schoolyard. Sheets covered in their trunks, but I could tell they were completely full. As they passed, there was an awful smell that made me want to choke. It wasn't the same burnt egg smell as before, but an even worse one, like rotten crab meat. What on earth was it? I'd been enshrouded in one terrible stench after another all day. Then, certain white letters and basil on the side of the passing trucks caught my eye. Ground Self-Defense Forces. What? Self-defense forces? Like the army? Why was the army in the schoolyard? Hey you! Where did he come from? Where did he go? Where did he come from, Gun Night Joe? I don't think this is a good scene to make that joke on. Suddenly, someone slapped me on the shoulders from behind. I turned around, and a canopied SDF Jeep was parked there. The SDF person had a green raincoat and a gas mask like in the movies, carrying a compressed air cylinder. He didn't look normal. There wasn't an itch of exposed skin anywhere. Ow. When I tried to talk, I stretched a wound on my head. It made the SDF people exchange glances. I couldn't see their faces through their masks, but they seemed surprised. Do you live in Hinamizawa? Can you tell us your name and address? Well, yeah, I sort of live here. My name is Keiichi Maibara. Oh, and my address? Blank. Hinamizawa Village, Shishiban. After seeing me tell them my name and address without hesitation, one of the SDF people watching from the Jeep started talking into a radio. Base, do you read? Base, do you read? We have a 402, survivor discovered. I repeat, we have a 402, we found a survivor. He's in front of the Forest Service office.
This is base. Recopy. Secure the survivor at once. What is his status?
Healthy. Wounded all over, but not fatally. He could walk on his own. We will send him to HQ for safety.
I was prepared to go along with the police, but the SDF? I couldn't help but think it seemed a little bit much. They urged me into the back of the Jeep, and then they told me to put on this gigantic gas mask. I did so, and one of the troops fiddled around with it, strapping it tightly to me. It was heavy, hard to see out of, hot, and difficult to breathe. Just looking at the world through the lenses made it lose its sense of reality. My breathing sounded like some giant monster through the mask. At this point, I had no idea what was happening. With much trepidation, I asked the trooper adjusting my mask, excuse me, has something happened?
Where were you? What were you doing?
Hey, don't answer a question with more questions. How is someone asking you? I fell from a rope bridge on the way back in the mountains. I think I passed out on the riverbed. I don't actually know what day it is.
Today is June 22nd, 1983. Wednesday.
That surprised me. Satoko pushed me off the bridge on Tuesday the 21st. That meant I've been asleep on that riverbed for an entire day. Forgive me for asking again, but did something happen? Why is the SDF here? Is this a drill? Had my question been that difficult for him? None of the troopers would answer me. The one in the driver's seat, talking on his own radio, turned on the vehicles. He turned the dial and some broadcast station and another came in. I started to listen to the voice of a radio announcer I was familiar with.
Was conducted... I should not cover up my mouth. Was conducted at the Prime Minister's office. In regards to questions from the press that the SDF was not responding to the disaster promptly, was directly related to this unprecedented, unheard of catastrophe, Chief Cabinet Secretary Okuno had this to say. And so, I believe that once the SDF has received a dispatch order from the prefectural governor, they responded promptly. According to him, the SDF was prompt to respond to the crisis after receiving their orders. He implied that it was the prefecture's responsibility for taking too long to comprehend the situation. When did the governor who requested the SDF's dispatch actually become aware of the outbreak at such an unprecedented catastrophe? And did he not invite further damage because of the time lost before he sent the request for disaster relief? In other words, because of the bureaucracy? We are awaiting further investigation into the matter. That was Mr. Okada reporting from the Prime Minister's official residence. At this point, we could take another look at this political response following this disaster. In the middle of the night, between June 21st and June 22nd, a large-scale disaster broke out in Hinamizawa village, Shishabone. The details have not been investigated, but there was an eruption of a volcanic gas from somewhere in the Hinamizawa area. The gas was relatively heavy, and it spewed out. It began to flow. That flow went down along a small river and headed directly into Hinamizawa village. After a few hours, it had covered the entire region. It happened in the middle of the night, 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock a.m. Every home and every household in the village was afflicted. With most of the residents asleep, it is thought that all died without noticing the crisis. The catastrophe striking in the middle of the night caused its detection to come too late. But there was still one small opportunity to have noticed it. 3 a.m. A news dealer's shop in Okinawa sent a vehicle carrying the morning newspaper to its branch office in Hinamizawa. Usually the shop would be contacted upon the vehicle's arrival, but this morning, that didn't happen. The news dealer's shop had made repeated calls, but got no response. The shopkeeper sent his eldest son to check on the things, but they lost contact with him as well. It is extremely regrettable. If they had contacted the police or fire departments at this point, it is highly possible the situation would have turned out more positively. At the very least, it's possible that the portion of the village might have been saved from the tragic annihilation. 6 a.m. Residents in areas in the same region began continuously calling 119 to report the smell of rotten eggs, dizziness, nausea, and headaches. The fire department received the same reports, all from the same confined region. They speculated a truck loaded with chemicals may have gotten into an accident and reported it to the local police. 6:30 a.m. Contact was lost with a patrol caller on duty in the Hinamizawa area after the officer reported the smell of rotten eggs. Local police considered the possibility of a large-scale disaster involving highly lethal gas and reported it to the prefecture and prefectural police at 7:15 a.m. 8 a.m. The governor was traveling to a nearby prefecture for an inspection, so in accordance with the regulations, the prefecture environmental disaster prevention chief was provisionally escalated to director general and set up a disaster countermeasures office. However, without contacting governor, the countermeasures came too late. As has recently been pointed out by citizens groups, his trip with honorary dive members to inspect the other prefectures was based solely on good relations, and it is rumored they preoccupied themselves with the drinking party. Sources closer have claimed the governor had been drinking all night and had gone to sleep in a drunken state. He was completely drunk when the environmental chief phoned him on as well, and apparently he could not get him to pay any more attention to the matter. And so, it took about an hour for the governors to sober up and gain an understanding of the situation and gather information. Though not as extreme as the governor's case, the environmental chief, who became director general in the governor's absence, will likely be questioned about his negligence. In addition, without any procedures in place on the prefecture's guide that predicted catastrophes this massive, they would always react too late, and that ended up being fatal. 9:12 a.m. On the advice of the prefectural police, the governor requested a disaster relief mission from the SDF. By the time the chemical defense unit, protective equipment, had arrived on the scene, 8 hours had already passed since the incident's outbreak. Whatever the case may be, it was unfortunate this happened while everyone was sleeping in the middle of the night. Had the same disaster occurred during the day, it likely would have been entirely different. All households in the Hinamizawa village region were wiped out. There were over 1,000 victims. The SDF is still confirming the situation on the ground, but the results are predicted to only increase that number. Here with us in the studio today is Dr. Fujiwara, a professor at Blank University who is well acquainted with volcanic disasters. Doctor, can such a sudden and horrible outburst of poisonous gas actually happen?
It isn't at all unusual for this to happen right around craters, at least. Japan is a very volcanic nation, and it has many active volcanoes. There is always a danger of hazardous gas around any of these craters, and it's generally a rule among mountain climbers not to go near them.
Does this mean the rotten egg smell that visited Hinamizawa village was the normal sort of gas from volcanic craters?
Judging by how it smelled like rotten eggs, we think it was hydrogen sulfide, a gas seen particularly frequently in accidents compared to other volcanic gases. If it's dense, it becomes extremely dangerous.
Hinamizawa village is very far from the craters of any volcanoes. Can hydrogen sulfide be generated even from a place not close to a crater?
I don't know all the details, so I can't say anything concrete. But in other countries, there are records of gas eruptions due to magma buildup under hot springs. It's an extremely rare event, but it is possible for such a thing to happen even in a region not near craters.
Thank you very much, Doctor. We appear to have an announcement from the Japan Defense Agency. Miss Morikawa, are you there? Yes, I'm at the Japan Defense Agency. The agency has just made an announcement regarding the source of the Hinamizawa village gas disaster. Analysis from the ground Self-Forces Department of Chemistry has found that the gas was a mixture of carbon dioxide and hydrogen sulfide. Miss Morikawa. Oh, it's a miss, sorry. Do you know whether the gas is still erupted or spreading to nearby areas?
According to the SDS 9th Division, who are currently engaged in a rescue operation at Hinamizawa village, the gas density is steadily decreasing. They announced that the damage will not spread. However, it does not change the fact that the surrounding areas are still in danger, and that very strict observation must be maintained.
That was Morikawa from the Japan Defense Agency. And now we have a report on the state of those who have been made to evacuate the Okinomiya area. Shinozaki Elementary School is one of the evacuation sites, and we currently have a reporter on... Wait, was the radio cutting out or something? I think that was the radio cutting out. Wait. What? Inside the Jeep, clamoring and bouncing along the rough road, none answered my muttered question. An unprecedented catastrophe had destroyed Hinamizawa in a single night? Where was Hinamizawa village anyway? Someplace deep in the mountains, right? Names of places I heard about on the radio were always like that. They were all in places I'd never heard of, much less knew the locations of. Wiped out? What does that mean? Don't they usually say how many died and how many were injured? How many people were alive? Where did everyone evacuate to? Eventually, we came into view of Coach's clinic. For the first time, I saw the flag of Japan hanging on a pole outside. Japan's circular sun hung down as though exhausted. Many SDF tents were set up in the clinic's big parking lot, and many strict security vehicles were parked there as well. When they saw the Jeep coming, men in white clothing and gas masks came running out of the clinic, frantic, carrying a stretcher. "You're going to be alright! How do you feel? Can you walk?" Yes. And because of my owls, they forced me to lay in the stretcher anyway. People who seemed like doctors were looking at me and notifying others of my condition via radio. "Multiple wounds. High possibility of fractures and internal damage. Large ulceration on head. Pupils normal, but even without bleeding from the fundus, brain damage is still possible." And then, from the clinic entrance, people lying on stretchers were brought outside to replace me. Judging by their clothing, they were from Hinamizawa, and that's how I knew they were victims. They brought the stretchers in front of a truck. 2 troops, holding shoulders and legs, like some kind of baggage, picked them up and threw them into the trunk. In the trunk of the truck, people's bodies, piled in heaps, they were just like baggage. And that told me they were already nothing but shells. At that moment, I remembered all those colorful sacks filling the trunks, and them lined up in the schoolyard like a fish market. Hundreds of empty shells. Corpse. 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 You jackasses! Don't just throw the victims in like that! They lived here! The troops carrying the sacks answered me with a humble salute. The world didn't need this insane virgin Hinamizawa. My final wish. Again. It was granted. I didn't understand anything anymore. None of them mattered. I wished, I cursed, and then it happened the next day. And please, tomorrow morning, let me die. That insane night is still going on. Please end it already. Are we gonna get a newspaper that says Keiichi Maibara died the next day? Hey! He's lost consciousness! Shout his name! Quickly! Maibara-kun! Can you hear me? If you can hear me, just blink! Maibara-kun! 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 Suddenly, the world didn't matter to me anymore. I wasn't interested in their cries. His breathing stopped! Get his respiratory tract open! Use CPR! Make him live! Damn it! Damn it! No more dead people! Nobody deserves to die! Don't kill him! Don't kill him! I could hear the voice of a man crying and screaming in my ears. Nobody deserves to die. Those words came from his heart. They were so commonplace. And they soak into my heart too. Maybe it was a mistake. To take someone's life. Even if it was to save Satoko. If this is the price I had to pay, this horrible tragedy, then this is a little much, Orishio-sama. Why? Why did you never punish me? Come to think of it, Satoko said something. Orishio-sama's actual curse never goes for the target at first, but kills everyone they love before that. Orishio-sama's curse. It was a convenient excuse I told myself at the very end. Like it wasn't my curse that destroyed it, but Orishio-sama's. Given that I was in a stretcher, this next bit must have been obvious. But last of all, I realized one thing. Yeah. Today, I had not heard those footsteps following me. Even once. And now, I was liberated. As the cries of the Higurashi I could have been hearing fill my mind. Their tearful ensemble was the only funeral march I had. Liberation. June 22nd, 1983, early morning. A widespread disaster occurred in Hinamizawa village, Shishibone Blank Prefecture. Oh, it's gonna do it for me. Volcanic gas, carbon dioxide, and hydrogen sulfide erupted from the Okafuchi swamp, one of the Hinamizawa area's water sources, and spread through the village. There were 12,000 victims. 20 have gone missing. The catastrophe was unprecedented, forcing local governments to evacuate approximately 600,000 people. According to the later investigations, magma pools and hot springs were uncovered directly under Okafuchi swamp, and the gas that gushed from it was determined to be the cause of the disaster. In addition, directly after the incident broke out, many claimed voices claiming the disaster was a curse based in Hinamizawa village legends, first sparking a wave of chaos. There were apparently local legends of a curse spreading a miasma, destroying the village, and some scholars believe a similar gas disaster may have happened in the past and remained part of these legends. More extreme periodicals suggested this was an extension of a string of freak death incidents that had been appearing in recent years in Hinamizawa village, stirring interest in theories about this curse of Orishio-sama. In addition, relatives of those in Hinamizawa village who escaped the disaster complained of sickness afterwards and were hospitalized. Some of them died of unknown causes, further encouraging such extreme opinions. On top of that, some relatives professing to be possessed by Orishio-sama's curse committed suicide in strange ways, and the impact of the disaster has been had on the entire nation can no longer be ignored. Wild visions of terrible toxic gas sneaking around in the middle of the night killing people spilled across the country, causing a steady stream of people complaining of insomnia, difficulty breathing, headache, dizziness, etc. Some who identified themselves as being obsessed by it began doing odd things. Most of these were mistakenly attributed by the tabloid press, but afterward, some people began to call the mental illnesses arising from the Hinamizawa village the Hinamizawa syndrome. The Hinamizawa village region, the object of all kinds of rumors and speculation, is currently closed off, and even flying overhead is prohibited. The prohibition was, at one point, undone as a result of the decrease in the gas's density, but that autumn another gas burst was confirmed, leading to the area being cordoned off again. Orders that the area is sound asleep, all traces of blank. I cannot read that in time, they're going way too fast for these. Only one survivor remains, Keiichi Maibara, aged blank, who lived at blank Hinamizawa village. At the time of rescue, he had some trouble breathing due to the fluid buildup in his lungs, but as a result of life-saving procedures, he was kept alive. He is currently in a general hospital somewhere in the prefecture. The press have been asking for him for some time, but all interviews are being refused. What did he see in Hinamizawa? What happened between June 21st and June 22nd in Hinamizawa village? Today he remained silent, unwilling to speak of it. So Keiichi survived, despite wishing for his own death. He did survive. Great Hinamizawa's disaster in memoriam list. Wait, what? Joe Tomitake, real name unknown. Possibly committed suicide in the village. Investigators suspended. Mio Takano, strangled to death in the mountains of Gifu. Kurado Uishi went missing during an investigation. Katsusumo Kuminami went missing. Kyosuke Ure committed suicide. Rika Furude possibly murdered on shrine. Hinamizawa gas village disaster in memoriam list. Rena Ryugu. Mian Shozaki, Oryo Sonozaki, Satoko Hojo, Teppei Hojo, Ichiro Maibara, Akio Maibara, Dake Tomika, Suguro Okamura, Ramui Chie, Kichiro Kimiyoshi, Yukikazu Kameda, Tatsuyoshi Kazai, Shion Tsunazaki, Keiichi Maibara, committed suicide at the victim's hospital on August 29, 1983. Diagnosed with severe mental disorder due to the disaster and ongoing long-term treatment at a professional facility, he refused to honor his interviews with the media. Higurashi When They Cry. Oh, these are the credits! Scenario, Ryukishi 07, partner in crime, Miyake Kazukura, scripting. Ah! Okay, that's an interesting way to do the credits, show all the victims and then move on to the credits. I was getting confused for a second, so... Dang! Wow. Tatarigoroshi. That was an intense chapter to read. Like, that... Wow. Like, this is one of my favorite chapters of Higurashi, since it shows a lot more to, well, the themes of the story can do and all the topics that it can cover. Wow, I really love Higurashi, and my only complaint about this game was the ending and how they were explaining the Hinamizawa village disaster, for which that one, like that, the text in that scene, that was going way too fast for me to read. Like, you could easily tell I was having struggles getting it all done in time because it was going super fast. So, I apologize if I didn't get all of it through. 2003, late summer. Wait, what's going on now? An elderly couple living in Okaza Prefecture discovered a cassette tape while organizing the possessions of their son, who passed away 8 years ago. Their son went missing when his fishing boat capsized in 1995. He was 47 at the time of his death. 8 years later, in 2003, they had begun to organize their son's remains in order to organize their minds, and came across the cassette tape in question. From 1975 to 1989, the deceased had experience working as a journalist for a photography periodical, and this tape is thought to have been created during that time. The label on the tape read 11/28/1983, Keiichi Maibara. It is thought that the tape was recorded during an interview with Keiichi Maibara, the only survivor of the Great Hinamizawa disaster that occurred in June of 1983. As the only person who lived through the disaster on the night of June 21st, shrouded in mystery, many interested parties attempted to question him, but he never once spoke physically to anyone in a public place. Therefore, the tape caused quite a stir, possibly of being extremely high value. I'm going to hear the tape. It's really hard to talk about this stuff when I know I'm being recorded. Please, don't worry about it. Here, it won't be a problem if I do this, right? After this, the sound quality dramatically decreases. Did he cover the recording device with something? Then let's get started. Here's my first question. Keiichi-kun, where were you on the night of the great disaster? I had gone behind the shrine and took a path through the woods for a while. There's a rope bridge there. A little while before you get into the mountains. I fell from there and lost consciousness. Did this happen during the night of the disaster, between the 21st and the 22nd? No. It was the morning of the 21st, on Tuesday, which means I woke up the afternoon of the next day. I think I was out for a day and a half. Why on earth were you there? I mean, I'm sure everyone wants to know, but the bridge you fell from that day, a weekday, I might add, was quite far from both your house and the school, wasn't it? Speaking frankly, there are some who say you knew of the great disaster beforehand, and fell from the rope bridge as you were trying to flee the village. This isn't a joke. Please don't be so agitated about this. I think it's a terrible thing to say too. Please don't be offended. Anyway, how about the rope bridge you fell from? It was right here on the map, right? The rope bridge beyond the back of the shrine and through the path in the woods? Probably. I never went over there, so I can't say for sure. I guess I just want to know why you were out somewhere you'd never been before on a weekday morning. And then, well, how about the riverbed you fell unconscious on? Have you heard the rumors about that being impossible? Impossible? That word. Again? 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 For a little while, Keiichi Maibara utters the word impossible several times. Why would it be impossible? You know the volcanic gas originated in the Okinafuchi swamp? Some scholars did some pretty delicate simulations and modeling and discovered something very interesting. The volcanic gas was heavier than the air, so it went along the ground, flowing lower places, kind of like what water does. Flowing into lower and lower places, sorry, I missed the line. And with Okinafuchi swamp as a source, they were able to test how much time it would take for the gas to erupt and spread across the whole village. So, well, that riverbed you were unconscious on, the gas, it would have flowed down there. I don't really understand what you're trying to get at. In other words, if you were really passed out on that riverbed, you would have been in the middle of all the toxic gas that was spreading everywhere that night. That means there was no chance you could have been passed out there. Allow me to be a little more frank. I think that maybe you might be telling a lie. During the Great Disaster, you were hiding in a safe place, keeping an eye out for when the gas got thinner, then reappeared and was secured by the SDF. How about that? Is that right on the mark? For a short time, the journalist presses Keiichi further, in a teasing way, but all that can be heard in our heavy sighs. Even if that was the case, I wouldn't be surprised at this point. What do you mean, you wouldn't be surprised? Was the recording really taking up Keiichi? Some harbor suspicions. You said it before, didn't you? That was impossible. Impossible things happen in that Hinamizawa all the time. There are people who shouldn't exist. Dead people ended up alive. It's not really that unusual. Never thought I, of all people, be asked to prove that I was still alive when I was supposed to have died. The journalist and Keiichi both laughed for a while. To verify his authenticity, I had others in my Bar family check tapes with his voice in it. However, the sound was not clear, and much time had passed, so the relatives I checked with couldn't remember what he sounded like. I was able to give positive proof that it was actually Keiichi voice. Alright then, I'll change the subject. What do you think of the debate about whether the disaster was the curse? The 5th year of the serial freak death incident in Hinamizawa? I don't think it was. I was the curse that year after all. What do you mean? What do I was just asking the question. Answering the question. I was just answering the question. Doubts also remain regarding the date 11/28 was written on the tape. November 28th? Keiichi died in August! The curse. Well, you probably won't believe me when I tell you this. I was the one who caused it. I'm gonna restart that line. I'm jumping all over the place with the reading of this part, so I'm gonna restart this line real quick, and then it's gonna be good. The curse? Well, you probably won't believe me when I tell you this. I was the one who caused it. I was the one who wished for the whole village to die, and it happened. What an exciting story. Exciting? I suppose you call it that. After Keiichi was failed suicide attempt on a certain August day, 2 months after the disaster, he was diagnosed with a mental disorder and transported to a treatment facility. Oh, wait! He failed the suicide attempt! Unlike what the credits said, he failed. I was the one who killed Takano-san. And Coach. And Oishi, too. At the time, I had some kind of divine power. Yes. I suppose it was like footsteps. Footsteps? Wait, what's that supposed to mean? You have never heard footsteps before? The facility never allowed any news coverage, so it's extremely unlikely that a tape from the media dated after August 1983 would have his voice on it. Today, when you're walking around, try stopping suddenly. Something interesting will happen. Anyway, if you hear an extra footstep, even though you already stopped walking, you better be careful, you know. Yes, I'll be careful.
Is what I'm saying really that funny to you?
However, the reporter has been criticized for his forceful methods of collecting data while he was active, so there is a possibility that he broke into the facility and forced Keiichi Maibara to talk.
You've been doing nothing wrong but laugh in my face this whole time. You're just like Coach. You pretend to sympathize with me, to listen to what I have to say, but your eyes are telling me that I'm a lunatic. You think I'm a lunatic.
That's not true.
No? I can tell. Your eyes are the same as Coach's.
Is this truly Keiichi Maibara's voice? The authenticity of his recording is still wrapped in mystery.
I never heard the footsteps again after that day. So I don't think I have that terrible power anymore. Perhaps, right here, right now, I'll wish for you to die. I'll wish for your death, for saying all these unpleasant things. Yes, this time, why don't I decide how you die? Doctor said it was burned to death, so let's go with the opposite. With water. I hope you drown and die. How's that?
15 years after this tape was created, the reporter, just as Keiichi Maibara had predicted, died in an accident out on sea.
If I'm in top form like I was then, you'd die before tomorrow morning for sure. How then? I wonder, how many days will it take for you to drown? You better be careful now. Don't go getting yourself killed by some stupid curse I put on you, okay?
The recording ends in the middle of Keiichi Maibara's laughter. And Keiichi Maibara, late on the night of 11/30, 1983, 2 days after the interview, had suddenly died from a high fever, cause unknown. Records remain of the strange words he kept giving and pressing the call button the day before he died. An extra set of footsteps. Oh, frick. Oh, jeez. Oh, is that the last line of the game? Oh, God. All my hairs are standing up. Look at my arm. Holy crap. A new scenario has been unlocked. An all-cast review session has become available. To play it, click select extra on the tile menu, then all-cast review session, then pick on Tatarigoroshi. Holy shit. Okay, I'm gonna press extra real quick and read the extra real quick because I think that's where all the characters are talking and laughing after the game, but holy shit. Oh my god. Oh jeez, that was scary. That was really scary. Oh, I need this review session. I just need this review session. It will be more lighthearted. Thank you very much for enjoying Higurashi When They Cry, Chapter 3, Tatarigoroshi. How did you like it? It had a different sort of atmosphere than the previous chapters. Yeah, no shit, Rena. I'll be happy if you enjoyed it, Star. Haha. A bad end again. The type which we're so fond of, huh, Star? Personally, I wanted to get a scene of the gas coming in. The villagers spasming and foaming at the mouth one by one before dying. Do you all think so too? What the hell? What? Of course I don't think so. Again! It happened again! A huge bad end! Huh? Mi-chan, you sure seem happy about that end. Well, it's more like we can honestly do at this point is laugh. All we can honestly do at this point is laugh.
The terrible endings have been escalating through each chapter, and have finally reached a culmination, I suppose.
Everyone died together as friends. As friends, Nipa. I don't think that calls for a Nipa, Rika. I guess you could say that. I die every time though. I'm a little tired of it. It would be nice to have an ending where I didn't die once in a while. Tomtagi-san, you're kind of like a news reporter. When you die, it's like, oh, we're in the second half now. Kind of. Okay. Now, here are all the new chapter portraits that debuted in this chapter. Everyone give a big round of applause. First is Kochare Kyosuke-san. I'm honored to have your introduction. Hello there. I was a minor character, but having a full portrait like this makes me feel really important.
It's true. You had too many appearances and too much dialogue to be a minor character this time.
I don't know if I'll appear in the next scenario, so please root for me. Thank you very much. Next up, we have Chai Sensei, who has been around since chapter 1, but never had a portrait until now. Hello there, everyone. They had me appear in school scenes ever since the first chapter, but for whatever reason, I didn't have my own portrait. I wonder why. Ah, yes, I wonder. Oh, someone give Chai Sensei a seat, please. This is so wholesome.
Okay, now everybody is here. Rina, you can do the honors again.
Okay, everyone. Please pick the cup the nearest to you on your table. There are plenty of different drinks.
These after parties have really gotten lively. How many do we have here now?
Including us, I think there are about 10 people.
Now we finally have the same number of minors and adults. We can all drink without being ashamed.
Speaking of beer, how is that something so delicious when cold turns up so bad when warm? One of 7 wonders of the world, I say. Ha ha ha. I wonder why.
Okay, I'll pull some beer.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, huh? There were 6 adults here? Meep. I like the foamy barley tea as well. Rika-chan, you can't drink.
I let the 11-year-old drink.
Anyways, Rina-san, let's get this moving. Well, okay. Can I have everyone's attention, please?
Alright, everyone. Excellent work on the Tatarigoroshi chapter. Cheers!
Cheers!
Yay! Oh, this is so wholesome. I love this. Wait.
Okay then. Let's get down to our traditional plot discussion.
Oh, plot discussion. Still, though, the chapter is just confused us yet again. Well, if anyone has an opinion, please raise your hand.
Wow, everyone's being so discreet. No hands?
Then why don't I break the ice? Oh, excuse me. Could you change the music, please? Just something a little more mysterious. Yeah, that's good. The mood has been set. Alright, Tokuro-san, take it away! I think that just poring over the Tatarigoroshi story, the mystery won't be revealed.
I know what you mean. Obviously, that's how the stories have been set up.
Was there something like that in particular?
I don't know if I'm right.
But in Okinakuchi, when Baruku was eating in the restaurant with Oishi-san, Sonozaki-san found out. And it was a little mysterious, right?
It was certainly mysterious just in Okinakuchi, but after reading what Tatarigoroshi, a few things made a lot of sense.
When I mentioned a restaurant with cute uniforms in its story, it must have been Angel Mart. And Angel Mart is owned by the Sonozaki family, so...
Someone who knew Keiichi was there too, and told me. That actually makes a good amount of sense, right? That's what we mean.
There are several differences in the Higurashi stories, but I think there's 3 facets that are the same for each. The character settings, for example. I was scared in Okinakuchi, but that was only but that wasn't only because it was Okinakuchi. Kushi. Oh my god, I always pronounce it as Okinakuchi, I'm sorry. It was because my character was the exact same in all 3 stories. Is that it?
I agree with the characters being exactly the same. The most extreme case being me dying in the same way, in the same place every time.
No matter which story it is, you always die on the same day. There's a scene where during the Watanagashi, Takano-san and Tomotaki-san sneak into the ritual implement storehouse. The same scene may have still happened in the other stories, even though it wasn't portrayed. I think it still happened. Save for a few events, the weather of the day of the festival, what we did in the club, and Satoko's uncle coming home. It's almost all the same.
Which means, we have a bunch more questions. If the stories are told in exactly the same environment each time, why do they end up being so different?
Everything in general will sound out what type of way. Sometimes the story branches depending on choices, right?
So, like, if it was Tatarigoroshi, if you've given the doll to my sister, and an unavoidable bad end from a choice so early on, that's pretty scary. Well, in Tatarigoroshi, maybe whether you decide to kill the uncle or not.
I think it was way before that. I think it was branched back when the uncle's level disappeared because of some trouble and he returned to Hinamizawa. Then what was the first branch in Okinakuchi?
I think it was when I appeared and started talking about the serial freak death incidents related to Orishiro-sama's curse.
You know, I just thought of something. If Keiichi-san gave the doll to Mion-san, and if Oishi-san and my uncle hadn't appeared, would we have not spent our time in peace without anything happening? I see. Satoko's gotten to the point. You're right. You can say that again.
Then maybe we should pray Oishi-san and her uncle don't show up in this dark story. And then if we prevent Sonozaki-san from getting in a bad mood, everyone will be happy?
Yay! Big sis, you're needed for the bad ending! Be careful, everyone! If you make my sister mad, you're sure to get a bad end! What are you saying? Shion! Next time I'll pound nails into you without mercy! Bang bang! Just you wait!
We can't solve any of the mysteries thus far, but we seem to have put together a plan for how to get the story to end happily. I wonder if that would really make us happy. Oishi-san and Teppei-Hojo-san don't show up. Mion-san gets the doll. Is that all we have to make sure of?
You're right. We're all forgetting the most important thing. Remember the Great Hinamizawa disaster?
You cannot prevent natural disasters? Should we have everyone in the village put on gas masks and move away?
It's probably Orishiro-sama's curse. So we need to make sure not to make Orishiro-sama angry.
This is getting a little tricky. We mustn't ignore Orishiro-sama, eh? And what should we do in order to prevent that?
The dam project itself is probably out of the question. Maybe there was never a dam project in the first place? That would be hard. If it didn't happen, we would need a ritual to quell Oshio-sama's anger.
Singing a sacrifice in Kurofuji Swamp. A ritual sacrifice.
Sacrifice? Who would we sacrifice?
Come on, use your head. Someone who dies no matter what happens. If he's gonna die anyway, then we may as well have it help out Hinamizawa.
When you say dies no matter what, you're talking about me, aren't you?
I knew all along. I know you had some very important role in this story, Jiro-san. We will get you to play your part, Star.
And with that, we have a blueprint for getting a nice, happy, good ending, don't we?
Let's give it a try. We have time, since we have time. Everyone involved, come over here.
First, we stop Uncle Hojo, whose lover ran out on him, from returning to Hinamizawa. Hiya, my name's Uncle Hojo. He has no portrait, so I'm setting in Star. I'm so lonely and blue because my lover ran away. Time to go back to Hinamizawa to lock up Satoko-chan and raise her into... This is not the time to make a joke about that. Raise her into a maidservant. Why don't I take my motorbike back? I'll just put in the key and click. Click.
Kaboom! Judgment! To ashes and dust shall you return!
Satoko-chan, don't you think this was a little too much gunpowder? I hope Coach is alright, Sweat.
Next, we stop a Wishi from showing up.
Me this time? My name is Grotto Rishi, Star. Aha, good-looking middle-aged man who looks like a blues singer.
Me, judgment for you.
And lest we forget, a follow-up service for my sister. Come here, big sis. Here's a cute little doll for you, Star. Aw, how nice. I'm not really understanding of this.
And finally, we must quell Oshio-sama's anger.
Then, will our last actor please come up?
Time fast. Wrap it up and hang him. He'll sink for 3 days, right?
I'm not that patient. Let's get it over with.
And with that, the case has been closed. What a great story, guys! What a great story!
Star. Oh no, all of a sudden, this iron mine is glowing with that awesome power, Star. This pile of course is a pretty big deal.
What's this?
Huh? It's the phone. Hello? Oh, Keiichi-kun. Thanks for all your hard work.
Yeah. Looks like you're all having a roaring old time. And yet, here I am busy with reading the scenario for the next story. Whatever. I'm in a good mood today, so I'll let you off without any teasing. Is she on there? Can you put her on? What? You're going to announce it here? I wanted to keep it secret for a little while longer, but okay. A secret between Shion-san and Keiichi-san? What do you mean? Nobody told me about this, nobody! Okay, Kei-san, let's say it at the same time. 1, 2, 3!
The main character of the next story will be Shion Zanazaki!
What? Yes, so that's that. The one topping the popularity charts ever since her first appearance. The late appearing younger sister of twins has been the pattern of things ever since the day of TH.
I have no idea what that means, and it doesn't matter.
Anyway, I've been fired from my main character post for once. If the rumors are right, I might even get a portrait finally.
Yahoo! Well, portraits of Keiichi would be a waste of disk space. If it couldn't fit on one disk, there's a pretty high chance he'd be the first one dropped. Are you okay with this, Shion-san? The main character always meets some terrible fate in the end. Well, until now, that doesn't necessarily mean it'll happen next time.
With Tatarigoroshi, we already got at the third game in Higurashi When They Cry series. This verse had presented a lot of strange and exciting mysteries, but starting next time, the mysteries will start to be solved in the second half, marking the start of the investigation arc, temporary name.
That means it'll be a thrilling story where I become a detective and solve all these crazy, unfair mysteries. You'll all better think of good signature phrases. Like, you, sir, are the criminal star. It won't happen! Never! You get too close to the three family secrets, being president, and then get tortured. You're a shoo-in to be in a violent, unnatural death. Sis, I should say the same for you. Are you mentally prepared for me to see all three of your mysteries and secrets, and then have to apologize to me and commit suicide?
No chance Oshido-san was cursed for me, is there?
Anyway, the news story to begin in the second half, typically called Miyakashi, or eye-opening, is currently undergoing diligent development. We should be able to unveil it to you all in the near future, so I hope you look forward to it.
Wait, hold up. I think Chapter 4 is a different game, real quick. Okay, I'm sorry for minimizing. Yeah, it's... He must... Oh, wait, okay, I know what Chapter 4 is. Okay. I'm gonna announce it at the end of this video, so I'm gonna continue and read the rest of Tatarigoroshi real quick, then I'll unveil the 4th chapter. Onakochi, Watanagashi, and Tatarigoroshi. What truth will you come up with after reading these 3 stories? Or will you just come up with more questions instead of theories? Runa has no clue either.
For all you warriors who never yielded to these 3 mysteries and kept on fighting, we present you with 1,000 hours as thanks for your enthusiasm, one which we never originally planned on giving to you. Please enjoy it. And that was the end of Higurashi When They Cry, Tatarigoroshi! Oh! Okay, I'm gonna say this now. This is one of my favorite chapters, Higurashi When They Cry. Like, this is one of my favorite arcs. I'm gonna say this now. This is my 3rd favorite arc. It kind of fits for chapter 3. It's my 3rd favorite arc, and oh my gosh. This was a great game. Yeah, I've already said a lot of stuff about this game in earlier videos and earlier in this video, but still, Higurashi When They Cry, Tatarigoroshi is one of my favorites in the series since it goes into topics and themes that a lot of games don't really touch up on or don't touch up at all. Excuse my burp. But yeah, this game is one of my favorites of the Higurashi When They Cry series. It actually helps make Higurashi When They Cry one of my favorite visual novels of all time. Like, I'm going to say this now. The Higurashi When They Cry series is my #1 favorite visual novel. It tops Steins Gate. So I really love the Higurashi When They Cry series, and I'm ready to go into chapter 4, which is Himasubushi. Himashibushi. Yes, I am ready to go on to Higurashi When They Cry, chapter 4, Himasubushi, in the next video. So I hope you all enjoy Higurashi When They Cry, Tatarigoroshi, and I hope you all are ready for me to read Higurashi When They Cry, chapter 4, Himasubushi, which is actually going to be a lot shorter than Tatarigoroshi, Watanagashi, and Okurakuchi. So I hope you all like these videos, and I'll see you all next time. Leave a like, leave a comment, and I'll see you all in Himasubushi next time. Appreciate it.